What's up, guys? The Snowman here, and today's focus is on one of the most important clay court tournaments of the season. It is the Madrid Open, where both the men and the women will be competing over the next week and a half or so. It's a 1,000 level event on both the ATP and the WTA side. So today I want to focus on the women's draw. Next week in Rome, I'll preview the men, but the WTA draw is pretty stacked, so let's take a look at where some of the big seeds have landed and some of the fun matchups in Madrid. Pulling up the draw quarter by quarter, most of the top 10, the top 20 is in Madrid. Unfortunately, Bianca Andreescu tested positive for COVID upon arrival in the Spanish capital, so hopefully she recovers quickly and can still compete at Roland Garros next month. Also, Serena Williams is skipping out. Good news, she is going to be playing in Rome, though, before the French, and also no Sofia Kenin, but mostly everybody else is here and getting used to the European clay, and someone who looks more comfortable than just about everyone else is number 1 Ash Barty, who just won her tour-leading third title of 2021 in Stuttgart a few days ago. Barty playing some gritty tennis, coming from down a set to defeat Pliskova, Svitolina, and Sabalenka in her last 3 matches, all comebacks, and Barty has officially retaken the number 1 spot on the Porsche Race to Shenzhen rankings, just barely ahead of Naomi Osaka. So if the 2021 season ended today, Ash would be the year-end number 1, but Barty, a winner in 12 of her last 13, successfully defended her crown in Miami last month. It's just all clicking right now for the 25-year-old. Very few have the power plus variety that Barty possesses. And here's your key stat for Ash. She's now won her last 10 matches against top 10 opponents dating back to the 2019 WTA Finals, so I don't know who can stop her right now. Her first round opponent is Shelby Rogers, who's already lost twice to Barty this season, but they had an awesome match in Charleston. Maybe the altitude in Madrid will give Rogers an offensive boost, but still, it's going to be tough. Iga Swiatek is in this section as well. The 14 seed Swiatek making her 2021 clay court debut in Madrid. We know how potent her all-court game is on clay. She's never played against Barty as a round of 16 matchup. That would be about as entertaining as they get. It'll be slices and spins and craftiness galore. Kiki Bertens, the 7 seed at the bottom, the 2019 Mutua Madrid Open champ, still making her way back from an Achilles injury, has yet to win a tour-level match this year, just one win in the Billie Jean King Cup. So that's why number 9, Petra Kvitova, she's going to fancy her chances of making another deep run. She's a 3-time winner in Madrid. I mentioned the altitude, and that really allows Kvitova to hit through the court with her powerful ground strokes. It's a venue she's always enjoyed playing. Petra in decent form lately. And let's give a quick shout out to Veronika Kudermetova, maybe an under-the-radar player, but having a very productive season. She won Charleston without dropping a set in 6 matches. Semifinals in Istanbul last week. Kudermetova, a very high-risk, high-reward playing style, somewhat similar to Kvitova. Keep an eye on the Russian. Maybe not as much pop in the second section, but we do have number 4, Aryna Svitolina, as the top seed. More on her in a sec, because I want to start with that first round clash you see in the middle between Garbiñe Muguruza and Sloane Stephens. Those 2 Grand Slam champions have met 4 times in their careers, and oddly enough, they've all been blowouts, but a couple of wins for each player. Last year, Muguruza and Sloane met in Rome, 6-3, 6-3, the score in favor of the Spaniard. I just think it's going to be problematic for Stephens to defend from corner to corner versus Mugu, who's been so aggressive, hitting the ball so cleanly this season, getting up to the net, finishing off points quickly. We're going to need the Sloane from a few seasons ago to make that a competitive match. Muguruza's been taking it easy the last few weeks, withdrew from Charleston after what she described as a sharp pain in her left leg. Didn't want to take any chances, but she's still very much one of the top favorites for Madrid and Rome, of course Roland Garros later on. But back up to Svitolina, who's playing some thrilling tennis lately. Back-to-back wins over Kvitova in Miami and Stuttgart, where she saved match points, but consecutive defeats to Ash Barty as well. The Stuttgart semi could have easily gone the way of the Ukrainian. I like where Svitolina's game is at right now. Her draw in Madrid, extremely manageable until the quarterfinals. You see Barbara Krejcikova, Joe Konta perhaps in her path, and Svitolina given this top 4 seed at this event because of the absence of Sofia Kenin, who had a procedure to have her appendix removed back in February, also still dealing with a leg injury. And then you also see number 8, Belinda Bencic. She hasn't quite found the groove yet in 2021. This quarter seems to be destined for a Svitolina Muguruza encounter. Svitolina barely leads that head-to-head at 6-5. Moving on to the third quarter of Madrid, bottom of your screen, world number 3 Simona Halep made her return to the tour last week in Stuttgart, was fighting a shoulder injury which forced her to withdraw from Miami, but it was nice to see Halep get a couple of wins under her belt before losing to Sabalenka in the semis. Halep's movement looked pretty sharp, knocked off the rust nicely to dispatch Vondrousova and Alexandrova. We're going to see how well Simona's fitness is right away in the first round. She's got the unenviable task of playing against Sara Sorribes Tormo, and Sorribes Tormo played one of the matches of the season against Andreescu in Miami. It was a thrill to watch. She made Bianca fight for every single shot that night. Sorribes Tormo kind of Wozniacki-esque in her playing style. She's going to force Halep to expend a ton of energy, expect long, grinding rallies. Halep is going to have to be patient when hunting for winners. But some good news for the Romanian. She has made the final in Madrid 4 of the last 6 years, winning the championship on a couple of occasions. Number 5, Aryna Sabalenka at the top of Section 3. I mentioned she just defeated Halep in the Stuttgart semis. Sabalenka continues to rack up the wins. Her second-round opponent could be Daria KASATKINA. They've met at the last 2 majors, including Roland Garros. Sabalenka winning both matches, but some tight sets, couple of tiebreakers in there. KASATKINA is an impressive 16-5 this season. She's steadily starting to climb up the rankings again. And then Pegula Kirstea, a quality first-round match. We've yet to see Pegula on the clay this season, but Sorana Kirstea is coming off a title last week in Istanbul. Her first title in 13 years. Kirstea only has 2 career singles titles, one as an 18-year-old and now one as a 31-year-old. So she played inspired tennis against Elisa Mertens to lift that trophy. Victoria Azarenka and the aforementioned Mertens in this section too. And lastly, our 4th section of the draw, probably the most interesting in my opinion. We have 5 relatively mouth-watering first-round matchups. Karolina Pliskova, Coco Gauff intrigues me. Coco's had a decent year so far, but not really a signature win. I don't think she's defeated a top 20 player in 2021, so can she cover the court well enough against Pliskova? That second serve, also a key factor for Gauff. Needs to protect this second serve without double faulting. Going down the draw, lots of power on display with PAVLYUCHENKOVA and Madison Keys. A couple of Grand Slam champions facing off in Kuznetsova and Ostapenko. Dangerous to make predictions anytime Ostapenko steps onto the match court. Number 11, Jennifer Brady, has struggled to consolidate her success from Melbourne. In fact, she's on a 4-match losing streak now after losing to Kvitova in Stuttgart. Brady up against Venus Williams in Madrid, and the matchups just keep getting better. Maria Sakkari versus Amanda Anisimova. It was Sakkari winning with ease at the US Open last year when these two met. The Greek, not the kind of player who Anisimova likes to play. Sakkari, such an exceptional athlete and mover. I see her forcing Amanda into a surplus of errors to move on. And we've got to talk about the 2 seed Naomi Osaka. Has only played in 1 tournament since winning the Aussie Open. That was last month in Miami. Naomi getting upset in the quarterfinals against Sakkari. That was a weird match. Very windy conditions. Osaka never seemed to have a rhythm. And we know it's a much different story when the Japanese star is on clay compared to hardcourt. According to Tennis Abstract, Osaka has the number 1 hardcourt raw ELO rating. So that means she's the best in the business on hardcourt. However, her raw clay ELO is 24th best in the world. So a lot of that is because she tends to hit the ball flat, doesn't play with a ton of variety, and Osaka not as adept at moving on the red clay. She's yet to make the second week at Roland Garros in 4 tries. I can definitely see Osaka having some trouble if it is her against Sakkari, and even Karolina Muchova in the second round. Muchova, so well-rounded, will throw a multitude of different looks Naomi's way. Wouldn't shock me if Osaka loses one of those 2 matches. I think the important thing for her, though, is to find the rhythm, get the movement right, because it doesn't come as naturally for Osaka on clay. So hopefully she and everybody else arrives in Paris in their absolute best form. But again, we've got Madrid the next week and a half, Rome after that. I'll have a men's preview then, and it won't be too long until we reach Roland Garros. All right, thank you so much for watching my Women's Madrid Open preview. Please be on the lookout for my men's Rome preview next week, along with my men and women Roland Garros previews in a few weeks' time. If you want more tennis content, more preview videos, subscribe subscribe to the Snowman Sports Media. And yeah, thanks a lot. I'll be back soon. Cheers.